In a village where the red earth met the lush greenery of the forest, there lived a boy named koFi. koFi was born with skin as white as milk and hair as white as snow. koFi's birth was like a bird using another bird's feathers to feather its own nest. Seen as an omen of bad luck by the villagers who considered him an outcast and a curse. What made him truly unique were the locks that grew naturally on his head, spiraling and twisting like the roots of an ancient tortoisa tree. koFi's birth was met with fear and superstition. His father had died while his mother was carrying koFi in the womb. When bad luck causes a man as companion, even a ripe plantain can remove his teeth. Few months after his birth, the mother fell sick and could not survive. The villagers whispered that koFi was indeed cursed, that he was a taboo, a bringer of misfortune. koFi's village was a place of simple beauty, with thatched roof huts clustered around a central square where children played and elders shared stories. The air was filled with the scent of cooking fires and the sound of drums beating in the distance. As koFi grew, he found himself rejected by the villagers wherever he went. Children would taunt him, and adults would avoid him, casting him out as if he were a ghost. As they say, smooth seas do not make skillful sailors. koFi was resilient. He carried himself with dignity, his head held high despite the harsh words and cruel stares. He knew that though surrounded by signs of bad luck, his life was meant to be meaningful. One day, while exploring the outskirts of the village, near the forbidden forest, koFi stumbled upon a hidden path that led deep into the heart of the forest. Intrigued, he decided to follow that path. He had walked around this side of the forest several times, but had never seen this pathway. Scared of the warnings about strange beings in the deep, he wanted to resist, but today, everything within him yielded to the impulse to explore the forest. Once on that path, he heard echoes of voices in a distance. Fear overtook him, yet curiosity had gotten the better part of him. He followed the path until he came upon a clearing where a group of dwarfs were gathered. These dwarfs were unlike any human koFi had ever seen. They were small in stature but had faces lined with wisdom and eyes that gleamed with kindness. Unlike the villagers, who had rejected him, the dwarfs embraced koFi, knowing that a child not embraced by the village may burn it down to feel its warmth. Under the guidance of the dwarfs, koFi learned which plants could heal and which could harm. He learned to listen to the whispers of the wind and the rustling of the leaves, for they carried messages from the spirits of the forest. Back in the village, few kind-hearted villagers searched and searched for koFi. They did everything they could to know the whereabouts of the strange village boy, but to no avail. Soon, they resolved that he may have been eaten by some wild beasts of the forest, so they gave up on ever finding him. As the years passed, koFi proved that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Showing a natural talent for healing that had always been within him, grew into a powerful healer. His locks, which had once been a symbol of his oddness, became a symbol of his strength and wisdom. He was returned back to his people by the dwarfs, who encouraged him to use his gifts to help humanity. It happened that a great sickness fell upon the entire land, and his village was not left out. People were dying like ripened fruits dropping during storm. Fear engulfed everyone. No one was saved. There were cries in chiefs' palaces as well as poor people's huts. Every traditional healer was summoned to find solution to the plague, but no one was able to help. The villagers, desperate for help, turned to koFi. With the knowledge and skills he had learned from the dwarfs, koFi set to work. He brewed potions and concoctions, sang incantations and prayers. Slowly but surely, the sickness began to recede. His shrine became the hub of wonders. Anyone who came there left with life restored to him or her. The villagers were amazed, their skepticism turned to awe and gratitude. Many owed their lives to koFi's timely intervention. His fame spread throughout the land, and people from far and wide would come to seek his help. He would sit with them, listening to their woes, and then would brew potions and concoctions to ease their suffering. One day, a messenger arrived in the village with news that the princess of a powerful kingdom had fallen ill. The king had decreed that anyone who could heal her only daughter would be rewarded with marriage to her. koFi knew he had to help. With the blessings of the dwarfs, he set off for the kingdom. When he arrived, he found the princess lying in bed, her face pale and her breath shallow. The court's physicians had tried everything, but nothing had worked. Drawing on everything he had learned, koFi set to work. He brewed potions, sang incantations, and called upon the spirits of the forest for guidance. Slowly, but surely, the princess began to recover. Her beautiful color returned, and her strength grew. The king, overjoyed at the recovery of his daughter, offered her hand in marriage to koFi, the powerful healer. But surprisingly, koFi politely declined, knowing that his true home was with the dwarfs in the forest and with his people to whom he was gifted the power of healing. And so, koFi returned to his village where he continued to heal and help those in need. His fame spread far and wide, and he became synonymous with hope and healing. But in his heart, he knew that none of it would have been possible without the dwarfs who had taken him in and taught him the ways of the forest. koFi's journey showed that when there is no enemy within, the enemies outside cannot hurt you, demonstrating the power of self-acceptance and inner strength.